This your boy CJ Goodfella back from with Colossal Boxing Talk, and let's get it started. This is my second and third smushed together to be part 2 and 3 of the Manny Pacquiao, Tim Bradley breakdown series. And later tonight, I will be on here with my cohort, Michael Turner from Colossal Boxing. We'll be doing a joint show breaking down each fight card of Saturday night's top ranked super pay-per-view fight. So let's get right on into today's subjects about this video, and the video will be about Tim Bradley and Manny Pacquiao's strengths and weaknesses, which I usually do part 2 and 3, but today I'll mush them together. Busy schedule yesterday, so let's get right on into it. We're talking about strengths for Manny Pacquiao. When it comes to fighting Tim Bradley, the number one strength for Manny Pacquiao was the straight left. He couldn't miss with the straight left. The straight left was money. Even though if you didn't think it was landing, and because Tim Bradley was rolling his punches good, especially in the beginning of the fight, but it made it look like he was doing work, and it made him look like he was fighting 3 minutes around because they were so fast and impactful. Even if it was hitting the shoulders, rolling off the shoulder, it was making it like he scored, especially if you were sitting at ringside at the fight, because you don't have the TV angles that you have on HBO or the commentary, the biased commentary you might get, especially with HBO, but that's another subject for another day. And Tim Bradley, people ask like, how can he get away from the left hand? Because he was holding his left hand and his other hand so high, his guard hand, both his hands so high, because he was worried about that Manny Pacquiao left hook. And because when he took away Manny Pacquiao's left hook completely, because that was Manny Pacquiao's number one punch. But Manny Pacquiao doesn't get enough credit for his IQ of making adjustments. He made a good adjustment. It just shot the straight left all night. He just shot the straight left, shot the straight left. He couldn't miss with it, and if he missed with it, it still looked like he landed with it because it's so impactful, so fast, so forceful, and like a punch that he practiced all camp. Because I mean, he didn't look out of place without the left hook, and then the right jab was just flashing. It was just there. It was just kind of like, how can I put it? It was kind of just like it was kind of like a mirage, just the right jab. It was just a mirage. He had flashed it. It wasn't meant to land. It was just meant to get Timothy Bradley thinking about something to get him out of position. Now, if you want to go back to the first fight, yeah, Tim Bradley was slipping and sliding and moving, and the speed and his little feints and the way he jump in and throw his wild slapping punches. Yeah, he gave Pacquiao a little bit of problem, but Pacquiao last 30, 45 seconds of the round, he just landed a couple straight left hands, make it look like he was landing and still around in the public's view. And that was another thing he did. He flurried, another strength of his. He flurried at the end of rounds and stole rounds. He was stealing rounds, and his footwork, it wasn't as big of an advantage in the beginning when Tim Bradley had two healthy feet. Because Tim Bradley was notifying some of his movements, and he was making Pacquiao in there think a little bit. But Pacquiao overall athletic ability was superior to Tim Bradley even when he was healthy. His speed was just too much. I mean, his power wasn't vintage Manny Pacquiao, but he had enough power to keep Bradley thinking about something. And then another strength for Manny Pacquiao, a third strength for Manny Pacquiao, would be just his experience on that top level at the time. And I still think he has experience being in bigger fights and fighting on the bigger stages, because I mean, he's been doing it for a long time. I mean, when you come up fighting Mexicans and how many championships and belts and accolades that Manny Pacquiao has, there's nothing that's gonna phase him and throw him off. And maybe in the first fight, it threw Timothy Bradley off fighting against such a bigger crowd. He came out a little bit tight, a little bit tense, not as relaxed as he usually does. And Manny Pacquiao just look relaxed coming into that fight. So in this fight, I expect him to still be relaxed and expect a beater. And fourth strength for Manny Pacquiao, I would say, is just his discipline now coming into this fight. I mean, by him being knocked out, it might have been most people looked at it as a curse. I think it was a blessing, because in the Rios fight he fought so disciplined. He used his advantages and didn't give up his advantages. He'd give up his advantages to put him at a disadvantage, if that made any type of sense, if you could break it down. Because he stayed disciplined, he stayed on the outside, he moved around, used the ring versus Rios, and I think it's similar things he could do versus Tim Bradley, as far as just to putting a discipline tag on there. Just stay on the outside, use his strength, don't get caught up into a firefight. Uh, Cover up when he needs to when he on the ropes and spin off the ropes. Keep the fight at a distance. Shoot the left hand and just don't take too many chances. Just outpoint him and use his speed and just outpoint him and don't look for the knockout and don't just get too aggressive and be out of place and get hit with something because most believe, and I believe Team Pacquiao and Freddie Roach believe that Pacquiao, Tim Bradley doesn't have power to knock out Manny Pacquiao, but once you get knocked out, sometimes it's not that hard. A hard shot has to knock you out. Sometimes it's in the back of your mind and your body is not feeling the same. But I think that's an advantage of him now. That Pacquiao is maturing, he's in his mid 30s, just more discipline. Now you want to go into Tim Bradley's strengths. Tim Bradley's strength right now, his number one strength is confidence. That's his most improved at fighting in wars with Ruslan Provodnikov. Most people are arguing he really outpointed Juan Marquez. I don't care what many people say. He easily outpointed him, and just him outpointing a guy that knocked out Manny Pacquiao and had the biggest win of his career. I think that just put Tim Bradley just feel like he can make it through anything, especially after allegedly winning over Manny Pacquiao with one broken foot and one sprained ankle. He feel like he can do anything. His confidence level was high. Manny Pacquiao can break him at his most vulnerable point last time, and he just feels like it's his time, and that's been one of his biggest gifts is his confidence, his relentlessness inside the ring, and Tim Bradley is just very all-time confidence. I remember him going to a fight with Devin Alexander, and his confidence was so high, and most thought Devin Alexander was going to win, and he broke Alexander's will. He broke him, and I think, and for him to win a convincing fight, he's going to have to break Manny Pacquiao's will in this fight, and I wouldn't put it past him breaking Manny Pacquiao's will, going through what Manny Pacquiao's going through, and outside the ring. And number two, strength from Tim Bradley going into this fight is avoiding the straight left hand. He has experience. Him and his trainer Diaz is working on even when they do mitts, they're working on positioning the left hand and avoiding the left hand and still staying away from the left hook, which can possibly have enough power to knock him out, which is a little bit more dangerous. He's working on, getting away from that left hook. He's more defensive, going here more defensive minded, and being able to transition defensively to offensively better. I think that's what they're going to practice on. I think that's what he has improved on since they first fight. Is becoming a better transitional fighter and just from defense to offense and offense to defense and being more conscious and not taking those chances, putting his chin out there and getting hit with unnecessary shots. So just being a better transition fighter from offense to defense and just being more conscious offensive defensively and not jumping in and getting hit with unnecessary shots. And I think he'd be ready for the Fanks Manny Pacquiao throw, and he'd be ready for all just the little things that he does, and might try to take Manny Pacquiao out of his comfort zone. Third strength from Tim Bradley, I think he's been working on his punching power. Him turning over his punches a little bit more, putting more weight behind them, turning them over, not slapping with him as much. He's a big, strong guy, but he doesn't punch. He's not a big puncher at any of the weight classes he's at. And he's just been working on turning over the punch. I remember he was in Detroit, where I am, and Tommy Hearns was showing him how to turn over a left hook and how much power can be drawn out of the left hook. And I think him and Diaz have been working on turning over those punches. And in the Provodnikov fight, he displayed a little bit more power at 147 that he never displayed at 140 pounds. And I think that power, it might be a factor in this fight, but just a possibility it could be a factor with him turning over his punches better and not slapping with them. And mixed with his aggressiveness, if he could punch a little bit better, he could end up breaking down Manny Pacquiao late in that fight. And then fourth and final strength for Tim Bradley, in my opinion, is just being there. Him being there before, experience fighting Manny Pacquiao, him sitting in there before, knowing what Manny Pacquiao does, knowing that Manny Pacquiao sometimes giving up his position, knowing he's on the decline, and just being there and knowing. knowing he belongs on the stage, fighting another pay-per-view, fighting another big fight that did over 1 million views on HBO with Provodnikov, taking Provodnikov's best shots, schooling the guy that knocked out Manny Pacquiao and Juan Marquez, just my bad, cut off, just being there and and just getting it, just being there, and I think that's really gonna help him. Just being there, and then if you want to talk about weaknesses real quick in the video for Manny Pacquiao, just his overall health and how he doing after the knockout. I know he looked good versus Rios fight, but he didn't get touched up too much because he fought a safety first fight, which I think at this point in his career is showing maturity for Pacquiao and understand knowing where his weaknesses are, knowing that he's not invincible and he can't be touched. So his chin, and then for Manny Pacquiao, just his psyche is probably a weakness coming in this fight. Not knowing if he still can compete on this level after being knocked out, because Rios is a couple notches below Tim Bradley, and just be like, all right, I belong here after he beat Tim Bradley, and I think that was just sealed the deal for him, and that's just something in the back of his mind. And then the third weakness for Manny Pacquiao is just uh, just keeping it all together for 12 rounds, not losing focus, not giving away rounds, not taking 2 minutes off a round and expect to win a round, only fighting 30 to 45 seconds and just shoot shining and winning a round. I think that's where he got caught. That's why he might cost him the fight last time, and hopefully it won't cost him the fight this time. And a bonus weakness is not make everybody wait for you watching the game and make everybody sit there an hour waiting on you to come to the ring. It probably score a little bit more brownie points with the judges. Make sure everybody get home on time. And for Tim Bradley, back on a serious tip, his weakness is he got to get away from the left hand with Pacquiao and still avoid the left hook. He gotta he gotta time. He gotta take advantage of Pacquiao feints and don't go for every feint, and just throw on some feints, and just look out for the feints. And second weakness for him is his overall, you know, his overall health. He took some beatings and took some good shots from some good punches like Provodnikov and Marquez. He took a couple good shots from Marquez, just knowing he's healthy, he's on weight, he's on track. He can continue to take the beatings even though he'd have been through the wars. He's still a young 29 years old. So just knowing, just maybe he could be broken down right now. Then the third and final weakness for him is he can't rely and just say I'm faster than Manny Pacquiao. Get that train of thought out. You're not faster than Manny Pacquiao even right now. You have to use your timing and you have to improve on your timing and time Pacquiao, which is not an easy thing to do, and just rely on your smarts and trust your game plan and listen to your corner. Don't go against your corner. When you listen to your corner, you get fights like Marquez. When you go against his corner and gets out of position, he looks like he goes into wars like Ruslan Provodnikov and take beatings he shouldn't have to be taking because he not taking advantage of the gifts he has and God had given him. And on a bonus point, and another joke, had to spread the wealth around. Wear some damn socks, Tim Bradley. I don't hear no excuses. Wear some socks, and so we don't have to see you in a wheelchair win and lose after the fight, because that wasn't a good look, wheelchair Bradley. Uh, this is just a colossal boxing breakdown for me. Strengths and weaknesses. You can like the Colossal Boxing page on Facebook. Send us a like. You can add me at CJ Space Goodfella one word King on Facebook. I talk a lot of shit. We talk sports and everything else. And you also can follow us on Twitter at Colossal Boxing Talk. And shout out to all my rest of my three other four horsemen. Miguel Mighty Talks, Mighty Mouse, Suave. Shout out to MT Michael Turner. Shout out to my boy Jarrell Jernigan. And shout out to everybody that supports the movement. Carlos Ponce de Leon, Sugar Floyd Jones. Shout out to John JG. Shout out to everybody that supports us. And I appreciate everything y'all doing. We on the uprise. And this is Colossal Boxing Talk. And we gone.